Wright, 20, driving with his girlfriend. Andre Hill, 47, emerged from a garage holding up a cell phone in his left hand. Manuel Ellis, 33, walking home from the store. Breonna Taylor, 26, asleep at home. Stephen Clark, 22, standing in his grandmother's backyard. Botham Jean, 26, seated on his sofa eating ice cream. Tamir Rice, 12, playing with a toy gun at the park. Fantability, 8, at a football game. George Floyd, 46, allegedly tried to use a counterfeit $20 bill. All of these people I have named are dead. They are dead due to police brutality, and this list barely covers a fraction of these people. Now, to start, I'm going to go a bit back into the past. In June of 1971, former President Richard Nixon launched the war on drugs. He stated, "America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offense." According to the article, Decades of Failed Reforms Allow Continued Police Brutality and Racism by Stephen Underhill, John Ehrlichman was Richard Nixon's domestic policy chief. He later recounted that the war on drugs was directly designed to link the Black community with narcotics and thereby arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and make them villains night after night on the evening news. The war on drugs completely targeted the Black community and was made to justify the mass incarceration of Black men. In August of 2014, protests were gaining traction in Ferguson, Missouri, after Michael Brown Jr., a Black teenager, was killed and his dead body was left in the street displayed for hours. Police responded to these protests with tear gas, rubber bullets, stun grenades, riot shields, handguns, tactical vests, and more. This pushed former President Barack Obama to create a task force on policing in the 21st century. This recommended new policies to build trust between racial minorities and the police, but unfortunately not many adopted this change. Later, ex-President Trump rescinded these guidelines to demilitarize the police and reinstated all military gear. We have not progressed. According to the article, despite protest, number of fatal police encounters is unchanged by Tim Arango and Julia Hayward. Since George Floyd's death in May of 2020, around 1,646 people have been killed by the police, or about 3 people per day on average. This article was made a couple of months ago, so now this number has risen. Black people are still 2.5 to 3 times as likely as white people to be killed by a police officer. According to the article, What the Data Says About Police Brutality and Racial Bias, and Which Reforms Might Work by Lynn Peoples, information from more than 2 million 911 calls in 2 U.S. cities concluded that white officers dispatched to Black neighborhoods fired their guns 5 times as often as Black officers dispatched for similar calls to the same neighborhoods. Officers who are fired for misconduct are also frequently rehired, like the police officer who killed Tamir Rice. He resigned from another police department after it had deemed him unfit to serve. The police are not serving Black communities, they are destroying them. For 9 minutes and 29 seconds, Derek Chauvin kneeled on George Floyd's neck while he relentlessly screamed, "I can't breathe." Black people have to fear for their lives every day walking on the streets. They can't breathe. They're taught to be vigilant and afraid of the police because they're killing them. They're killing us. To help, you need to fight for change. You need to be the change. Be an activist. Speak up for the basic human rights of Black people. Every voice matters.